Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Best IT Solution, and today we'll see another important topic of Java, that is Hibernate object states and persistence lifecycle. So what is Hibernate object states and what is the persistent lifecycle? What are the object states? We will see one by one. So first, this is a diagram for persistent lifecycle. Okay, so you can see here this is one state like start and transient and persistent, removed, and detached. Okay, so we'll discuss this and regarding this diagram later. So first, just we'll see different stages of objects. Okay, so what are the stages of object? Different stages of Hibernate object. So first one is the start state, that is new. When objects are created, the first it will called as a start state or new state. Then it will goes to transient state. Then it will goes to persistent state. Then it is detached state. Then it is removed state. Okay. So what are the we will discuss each state separately one by one, and then another one is end state. Okay. So these are the states of object. So what is transient state? So the moment we create the object in Hibernate, it is called transient state. So first state is the transient state. So the moment when we create the object, so as soon as we have created the object in Hibernate, it is called as the transient state. That means the object is created now means this is the it goes automatically as a transient state. That is now our object is in transient state. It means in this state, if we close our application or destroy the object, the data will be lost. Okay, so in this state, in this transient state, if we close our application or destroy the object, the data will be lost. That means data is not stored in the persist in the database. So if we close the application or destroy the object, then our data will be lost in transient state. If we do any modification, also that data will be lost. If we do any modification in this state, then also that data will be this modified data also be lost. So by default all the objects are transient state. Okay, so by default objects are created means by default all the objects are in transient state. Okay, so another thing is persistent state. So what is persistent? So when we save our data, at that time the object will go for persistent state. So from transient state it goes to the persistent state. So when we save our data, so when we create the object, that will be the transient state, and then when we save our object, at that time we can call that object as a persistent state object. That is, now the data will save permanently in the database. If we delete our object, data will not lost. Now if we delete our object from our program or application, they are close our application or destroy our object, then data will not lost because data already saved using the session.save method. Okay, and if persistent state, whatever modification we will do in our object, that will reflect in our database. Okay, so in persistent state, if our object is on a persistent state and if we do any modification to our object, then that will be reflect to our database also. Another state is detached. So what is detached? So if we want that whatever modification we have done with object, that will not reflect in database, at that time we need to detach the object. Okay, so there is some requirement that whatever modification we have done with the object, that should not be reflect in the database. At that time we need to detach the object by calling the detached method. There is a detach method. By using the detach method, we need to detach the object from the database, by which if we do any modification in that object, that will not reflect to the database, which is called as the detached state. So it is very similar to transient state. In both the case, the database data will not change. Okay, so the detached state is very similar to transient state because in both the case the database data will not change. Here we should commit our session or close session, or we should detach our object from session before doing any operation. So in this case we should commit our session or close the session, or we should detach our object from session before doing any operation. Okay, so in detached state, before doing any operation, we should detach our object, or we should need to close the session, or we need to save the session. So another state is that is removed state. So what is removed? If we want to delete the data from the database, we should use delete or remove method. So removed state means data has a delete from the database. So if already data is persisted in the database before, and now we want to delete this data, then we can delete this data from the database by using the delete or remove method, and at that time this is called as the object is now the removed state. At that time the object will go to the removed state. Now the object is present in Java but not present in database. Okay, so if we will remove the data by using the remove or delete method, now object is present in our Java program application but it will not present in the database because we have removed it from the database by using the remove method. Okay, so these are the different stages of the Hibernate object. Okay, or persistent life cycle we can also say. So if we don't, it is an important note for you. If we don't want to create object or don't want to save our data into database, but we want to fetch it, at that time we need not to go transient state. Directly we can fetch data using get or find method. Okay, so if our requirement is we don't want to create new object or save new data in the database, just we want to fetch the data from the database. Whatever data already saved before, just we want to fetch that data. At that time, we can directly jumps to the from directly we can jump to the persistent state. Need not to go to the transient state. Okay, so if we database but we want to fetch it, at that time we need not to go to transient state. Directly we can fetch data using the get or find method. So there are methods available provided by the Hibernate, that is get or find. By using this get or find method, you can directly fetch the data from the database. You need not to go to the transient state. Another thing is, in this time by default object goes to the persistent state directly, shortcut way. So in this time directly the objects are go to the persistent state directly. After doing get, it will modify database also. So after doing the get operation, it will also modify the database. And another thing is, we can also go back from detached state to persistent state by using same method. Okay, so suppose from transient state we have gone to persistent state, and then again we have from persistent state again we have detached the object. We have go to detached object, then we can again go back from detached state to persistent state by using the same method. If the detached object again will save, then it will again go to the persistent state. In all these state, the object can go for garbage state if we don't use no more. Okay, so if our object is no more, it will automatically go to the garbage state from all states. From if the object is any state, no matter if we don't use the object no more, it will automatically go to the garbage object. Okay, so and we can just describe the diagram also. You can see the diagram that thing, that from start state it will go to the transient state, and from start state directly if the scenario if we don't want to save the data, just we want to fetch the data, then we from start state directly need not to go to the transient state. Directly we can fetch the data from the percentage state by using the get or find method, and start state to transient state, and then transient state to also go to the persistent state. If the transient state the object is used no more, then it will go to the garbage, it will go to the garbage collection, that is end. And from persistent state it will also go to the removed state, and from persistent state it will also go to the detached state. So the persistent data can also go to the removed state, and the persistent data can also go to the detached state. So from detached state also it will go to the garbage state, and from removed state also it will go to the, if it is not used no more, it will also go to the garbage collection, that is end state. And from detached data again we can persist by using the save method. Okay, so here we can change this modification like insert shapes. Okay, so here you can use on shapes like in this way. Sorry, Okay. Okay, so in this way, from detached state, by using the same method, also data can goes to the by using the same method, that also it will goes to the persistent state again. Okay, so from detached state, by using the same method, again we go back to the persistent state. Is persistent. Okay, so thank you guys. So this much in this video tutorial. So this is all about the hibernate object states and persistent life cycle. Okay, so thank you very much, and if you have got some knowledge from this video, so please like, share and subscribe the channel, by which I can motivate and make more and more video on this in this related topic. So thank you.